Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai. Since we're moving toward Shiva Ratri, I thought we would take a little break from the Devi Bhagavatam and read a few other stories. And this is from the Swami Purana by Swami Satchidananda Saraswati. We're going to learn about Daksha's boon. All the sons of Brahma went off to perform austerities and to perpetuate the Divine Mother to make herself manifest in creation once again. Daksha went with the others to engage in spiritual discipline, and he became extremely inspired. He wanted that power his father had promised, and so he always gave a little bit extra. He stood on one foot and raised his hands into the sky. He chanted mantras while sitting in snow and in rain and the sun. He never moved, never flinched, and never swerved from his ceaseless, relentless vow of purifying austerities. For 100,000 years, he sat in meditation, performing various severe austerities. He wanted the Divine Mother to manifest in creation again and to marry Shiva, to take the load from his father's shoulders. But more importantly, he wanted her to take birth in his house. Finally, the Divine Mother became pleased with those efforts and appeared before Daksha and the other meditating sadhus. She told them that she was pleased with them and said, "Choose a boon." Daksha immediately replied, "I want you to take birth in my house." The goddess said, "All right, I will." Then the other brothers said, "We want you to become both the wife of Shiva and of Vishnu again, and to give them the energy by which they can perform their functions of existence. Our father Brahma grows tired of creating, preserving, and transforming this universe. So please give Shiva and Vishnu the Shaktis by which they can do their share." The goddess said, "I grant you that boon. I shall take birth in Daksha's house and perform the austerities necessary to be accepted in marriage to Shiva. And my other manifestation will take birth from the milk ocean and marry with Vishnu. This will come to fruition when everyone begins to chant my mantra, Hrim." So they churned the milk and ensured the ocean, and indeed, Mahalakshmi came forth, and she became the wife of Lord Vishnu. Now we're going to go back to Daksha's daughters. Brahma's daughter, Prasuti, became the wife of Daksha. Daksha and Prasuti gave birth to 50 daughters in their efforts to bring forth the Divine Mother into their house. The first 27 daughters were married to Chandra, the moon. Chandra told his 27 wives that he didn't want any difficulties. "I'm giving to each of you 13 degrees and 20 minutes of the heavens, and that will be your own region." These 27 portions of 13 degrees, 20 minutes make up the 360 degrees of the heavens, and Chandra, the moon, moves amongst his wives. Every month he circumambulates the heavens to visit them all. These are the names of the 27 wives that were given to Chandra: Ashvini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohini, Mrigsiri, Andhra, Punavasu, Pusya, Aslaya, Magha, Purva, Falguni, Uttara Falguni, Hasta, Chitra, Swati, Visakha, Anuradha, Jastha, Mool, Purva, Sada, Uttara, Sada, Shravan, Dhanista, Satara, Purva Bhadrapad, Uttara Bhadrapad, and Ravati. They became accustomed to waiting for their turn to share some time with their husband. They gave him all their love and in every way cooperated with each other. But when Chandra got to Rohini's house, he stopped for a while and fell completely in love. All the other 26 wives started to complain and said, Chandra, you are supposed to spend an equal amount of time with each of us. Why are you staying only with Rohini? Chandra replied, I will be with you in a little bit of time. Wait your turn. But Chandra didn't move. Then all the other ladies went home to their father, Daksha. They said, Father, what kind of a husband did you give us? There he is having a special relationship with Rohini while he is ignoring the rest of us completely. Daksha went to Chandra and said, Chandra, you have 27 wives. You better treat the 27 wives equally. I'm warning you. Chandra said, oh yes, Father, I will surely obey. But he didn't leave. He stayed there with Rohini longer. All the wives became angry and went back to their father a second time and said, Father, he didn't leave. We are still waiting for our husband to come to us and for each of us to have our fair turn. What kind of husband did you give to us anyway? Daksha went back to Chandra and said, Chandra, I warned you. I told you that you had better treat all your daughters equally. You gave them each 13 degrees and 20 minutes of the heavens. Now why aren't you traveling around to visit each of them in their turn? You are only staying and enjoying with Rohini. I curse you. Your body will wither away to nothing. Daksha threw some Ganga water which struck Chandra, and the moon began to shrink. He got nervous as he started to get smaller and smaller and smaller. He thought, oh, what shall I do? I am shrinking away to nothing. He kept getting smaller and smaller until he thought, I must call on someone for help, and it had better be someone who will respond most quickly. Let me call on Lord Shiva to help me. He started to recite the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Immediately Shiva came and asked Chandra, how did you get so small? It was Daksha's curse. You've got to help me, Shiva. You know I'm very devoted to you. You've got to save me. Shiva said, I can't withdraw the curse that Daksha gave to you, but I will give you a blessing if you do something for me. Chandra was desperate and said, what shall I do for you? You will become an ornament in my hair, and from there you will inspire pure devotion in the hearts of all devotees. Chandra said, certainly I will. Now save me. Shiva said, okay, 15 days of the month you will shrink, and 15 days of the month you will grow again. So that's what happened to the moon. When he grows to his fullest, it is the full moon. And when he begins to shrink again, then he begins to shrink again. But Chandra learned his lesson, and now he makes his regular pilgrimage around the heavens to visit all his wives in their turn. Daksha gave his next 13 daughters to Kasyapa Muni. Kasyapa is the father of creation, and the most famous of his 13 wives was Aditi. From Aditi, the 12 Adityas were born, the first 12 gods shown in Vedic time. From the other wives of Kasyapa came forth the other forms of life in creation. Then Daksha gave 10 more daughters to Dharma, and he said, Dharma, marry these 10 girls. Dharma married the 10 daughters of Daksha and established them in the 10 directions, whereupon he proudly proclaimed, my Shakti fills the universe. Those were the first 50 daughters of Daksha. One day, Brahma went to Vishnu's house in Vaikuntha and said, Vishnu, you know it's so strange how Shiva is sitting up on top of his mountain, Kailash, all by himself doing nothing. Some people are good for some things, other people are good for other things, but Shiva is good for nothing. He hasn't helped a bit since his wife left him. We have to find a suitable partner for Shiva to inspire him and give him energy so that he will do something. I have been told that if we will all recite the Mahabija Hrim, the Divine Mother herself will manifest and marry him. Let's ask Shiva to help us with this japa, suggested Vishnu. Brahma exclaimed, that's a wonderful idea. Then when the Divine Mother incarnates in a perceivable form, we will give her to Shiva so he will have a beautiful wife to inspire him. Feeling inspired, Brahma went with Vishnu to Shiva's house at Mount Kailash. There they found Shiva sitting deep in meditation. Brahma and Vishnu sang hymns and songs of praise to him, after which Shiva arose from his divine trance and welcomed them with respect. "What can I do to help you, Brahma and Vishnu?" Shiva inquired. Brahma replied, "Shiva, we need some assistance in chanting the Divine Mother's mantra, Hrim. We are trying to perpetuate her so that she will grant welfare to the world. Shiva, will you help us?" Shiva agreed and immediately began to chant the mantra. Brahma too chanted the mantra, as well as Vishnu and the other gods. Slowly, all the munis began to chant, and then their disciples, and soon the power of the mantra spread throughout the three worlds. Then the Divine Mother knew that the time had come. Daksha and Prasuti had their 51st daughter. When she came out of the womb, she was shining radiantly. Daksha said to his wife, "This child is the embodiment of all being. We will call her Sati, true existence." The child began to radiate the power of welfare in all directions, and Daksha was pleased. Jai Mahamaya ki Jai, Lord Shiva, Bhagwan ki Jai.